Hi, everyone. Hi, Lauren.
Hey.
Happy Friday, snowy Friday, at least here, right around Ottawa. So today we have a very interesting topic, which is, I guess, a little bit more technical about having a good housekeeping with your software, keeping your software healthy. It's important to keep the animals in the barn healthy, but you want to make sure you do the same thing with that computer of yours in the office. So Lauren has got quite a few tips for us. So and like every week, I'll be moderating the questions and comments. And this is also being recorded and will be sent out by email and put on our website. So Lauren, go ahead.
All right. Like Matt said, we're going to be doing some program housekeeping today, and it's a perfect day for that since it's a cold and snowy winter day. So first off, we're going to start off talking about backups and why it's important to make a backup. You might be saying, well, my program automatically does that for me, and I don't need to worry about it. But things happen, and we want to make sure that you've always got your data. So as we listen to the program, we have a couple different options for backups. We can make a backup locally on your computer, to our remote server, to the cloud, or also to a USB stick or an external hard drive. So what we'll first start with is in File, and under at the very top, you've got Backup Files, and this is where you can choose what location you're going to send that file to save in. The first option would be if you had a USB drive plugged in, you can make that backup right to your USB drive. I highly recommend having this option available on the farm, just in case something crazy happens, the internet goes down for a few days or a week, and you don't have a remote backup, and then your PC crashes. So if you make a local backup on a stick, then at least you know you've got something. You've also got the option to save it to your hard drive. Typically, we have this path set up for you, so it's pre-saved, but you can go ahead and browse and figure out wherever you wanted to save that file. And then if you do have a preferred option here, you can also check that save settings box in the lower left corner. In the center here at the bottom, you've got the option for data save. Data save is the remote backup to our server. So that's going to be saved outside of your computer, and we'll have that data for you if you ever need it. And then you do have the option for cloud storage if you've got a Dropbox account or something like that where you can save the files. You would just hit next here and then you back up your files. So that's a really quick process. And like I said, once you have your preset settings saved, that's a easy couple clicks and you're done. So I'll cancel that. The next option here related with backups, under program settings, in about 2/3 of the way down there, you've got the backup settings. And this you may or may not have seen, but you do have an option whenever you close the program to have Uniform pop up and ask you, would you like to make a backup? You can change the frequency that happens. So if you need a little bit of a reminder to make your backups onto your USB stick or something like that, where you want to do them manually, something's going to change with the internet, and you want to make sure you've got good backups, but you're not really good at remembering, you can come in here, make sure this checkbox is enabled, and make sure it'll prompt you to make that backup when you exit. So then if you were to close the program and say yes, it'll ask you if you wanted to make a backup, and then you can go ahead and proceed with the backup, and then the program will close.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Lauren, but I think there's also a way to automate the whole process.
Of course, yes. The third way to take care of your backups is with the automate. And at the top of your toolbar, you've got automate up there. The first option is settings. And we've got some backup tasks that we can set to automate. So we can automate the remote backup to our server, we can automate the backup to your computer, and we can automate that backup to the cloud or to your USB stick. So however that however you prefer it to be handled, all of those options, or a few of them, can be selected for you and done remotely or automatically, excuse me, on your computer on a routine basis. So here you can see I've got a backup task. And if I go into the details, I can see how many I'm saving and where it's going to be saved. And if it's a remote backup or a cloud storage backup, those options also exist. So you could have 4 backup tasks set up on your automate list if you desired.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Great. The next topic I've got for you is related to the version of your program and how to get it to update. Now, if you'll see in the bottom right corner of your program on this toolbar where your version exists, it'll say install available updates. And when you see that, all you need to do is close the program and give it permission to update. It'll take just a few minutes and then you'll get the newest version of the software. The other way to do that, to manually look for them, because that does happen automatically, those updates will be delivered to you. You can also go under help and check for updates. You can force it to check for updates by clicking that button. And then if any available updates exist, you can go ahead and get that to start downloading by clicking on it, and then you can restart your program. If you ever want to see changes since the last update, that's also available under help and change log, so you can see what might have been changed in that update. On the topic of updates, Windows updates. They are those pesky little notifications that show up on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, and Windows will ask you if you want to restart your computer to install an update. Well, maybe you're not, maybe you don't have a lot of time and you just want to use something really quickly, so it gets pushed off and it gets pushed off. Well, the longer you push off those updates or restarts on your computer, the slower everything on your computer begins to run. So that can cause all kinds of different issues, maybe with Uniform or with software related to your milking parlor activity. All kinds of things can be impacted with that. So if you see those Windows updates available, the best case to do is go ahead and let them install. And you can schedule those through Windows to restart and do the update installations when you're not usually in the office, so that they don't get in your way. And I do recommend that you restart your computer at least once a week to make sure that everything's running fresh and quick on your computer. And some of you may have seen Windows 11 updates and have been a little hesitant to update that software. You are good to go with Uniform if you want to update to Windows 11. So don't be afraid to go ahead and do that and give your Windows system an update. The next item I've got for you is related with Automate. We talked about the settings already, but there's also a quick way to find out if you've got any errors related with your automated tasks. In the center of your dashboard, you've got the processes section, and automate is the first box. This will typically have a little drop down arrow and show you all of the tasks that are scheduled. If you have anything that's not routinely running or is not successfully running, there will be a little red square here, and it'll say 1, or maybe it'll even say 3 if you've got a few of them. And those are things that need attention. If you click on those and you don't recognize what they mean, that's a great time to give a call to the help desk. We can check out what's going on with those and then give your system a little quick check to make sure that everything's running properly for you. And those could be related to your backups. That could be your milk data or activity. It could be printing an action list. All kinds of things could be there. So any of them are worth checking on. You'll also see the upper right corner, you've got this little envelope icon in a circle. And right now it's gray. that means it's all good, no new messages. If there's something going on with the computer, or if there's a message from Uniform to you, that will turn red and there will be a number in it. So if there's one notification, there'll be one. But if more than one of those events are failing with your automate or something, there will be multiple notifications there. So if you click on those, it'll open and tell you what exactly is going wrong. And again, it's a great time to call the help desk if you don't know specifically how to fix those. But we definitely want to get them taken care of so that it doesn't impact your performance and your herd data. All right, let's get to the cow stuff. Next up, we've got some animal level herd health program health to take care of. So as you look at your herd summary and your dashboard on a daily basis, sometimes you can forget that things change, but it's always good practice to take a quick look and see if all of your numbers make sense, if all of your animal types make sense, and then we can help you get them resolved if there's something that's maybe not as accurate as it should be or not as up to date as it should be. On my dashboard here in the herd summary section, you see I've got a bunch of tiles for cows, heifers, I've got calves to sell, I have beef, and I have a service bull actually in my herd. So it's good to just take an inventory and make sure that these animals are accurate. Calves to sell to me is a hot topic, especially lately. So that's something that I like to check in on. I'll just click that and open it up. And then I'll sort this by status. So here we're looking at the calves to sell in this program based on their age. And I've got two that maybe meet my timeline here for calves that would stay on my farm, but some of these are quite old and have been gone for quite a long time. So if I wanted to clean that up, I can really easily take care of that. We'll just close here and jump over to data entry. And quickly in a batch entry, you can go down to purchase and sale and select the animal type on the left, bottom left. You can also choose how old those calves are that you want to be removing from the herd. So let's say in this case, I want everything older than 55 days because I keep my calves for a little while. Then I can reverse the selection. All of the calves to sell in my program greater than 55 days are in this list. I can choose my sale date. Let's pick a date here. Let's say we sold them on January 1st this year. You can pick your reason, whatever it may be, your buyer, the income if you wanted to record that, and then any remarks that you may have. And we'll go ahead and finish that. Process the sale of 4 of those animals. If I go back to my dashboard, now you can see my calves to sell is down to 2, and those are both my calves under 55 days. So that's a really quick way to take care of those pesky calves to sell that have maybe been clogging up your system, maybe since the beginning of when you installed the program. So it doesn't take a whole lot to get them cleared out of there. The other thing to check in on is the beef tile. So maybe you do, but maybe you don't have beef in the herd. If you do, it's always good to take a peek, make sure that these are the correct ones. The beef animals will be noted with that yellow color, so you can see quickly which ones they are. Let's open one here. This is a heifer, and maybe this was a mistake that she was entered as a beef animal. We can edit that and go into her pedigree details under animal type and change her back to dairy cows. When you hit OK, then she'll be moved back into the dairy herd. Thought that might happen. I don't have my Canada tags on, right? So if you go ahead and save that with an updated tag, then she would go back into the dairy line. Similarly, just check in on those service bulls, make sure they're still in the herd, make sure that maybe a bull calf wasn't entered incorrectly and ended up in the service bulls when he should have been a calf to sell. And then again, if there's anything like out of line with these different tiles, you can go into that purchase and sale wizard really quickly and clean out those old ones. Related with your sales, the to-do button in the center of your screen is also interesting. If you hit the little arrow down here, it'll show you the number of animals to be sold and the number of incomplete sales recorded. And you can either enable or disable a warning based on the no income related to that sale. That's what creates the incomplete. If you wanted to update that, we can go ahead and click on the incomplete sales and say, let's grab 169. We can add our income, hit enter, grab your buyer, and then if you had to make any remarks, you can go ahead and make a comment there. Hit enter, and that's going to process that sale. So that animal record and that sale is going to be recorded with that actual income. And you can track that in some different places throughout the program. It's becoming, I think, a little bit more common for people to be interested in recording the income on their sold cows. So if you're thinking, well, maybe, you know, it's been a week since I sold the cow and I don't know the price that she was sold for until I get the bill back, it's a pain to go track her down and put it back in. But actually, it's really handy. You can just come right here, click on the incomplete sales, add your income really quickly through data entry, and then you're all done. Okay, next up, let's say we're going to breed a cow. And we want to see our sires. Maybe you've got a nice pre-selected list like this already, but maybe you've got a huge list of bulls. How do we get rid of them? What we'll do is go into the bull listing, and there's a button on the lower left corner called Archive Unused Bulls. By selecting this button, what it's going to do is remove all of the bulls that we haven't used in the last 12 months from our lineup in the active column. So they'll still be here. That record's still going to be associated to any resulting offspring, but it won't be in your short list of bulls. So if you hit yes here, it'll go ahead and archive all those bulls that haven't been used. And then you can sort this by the column not in use, the far right, and see maybe here's my active 15 bulls that I've used in the last year. So that's a nice way to quickly shorten up your list. Next up, we'll go into a health batch entry here. And say you wanted to put a cow into a sync program, and you ended up finding out that she was in another sync program. So let's try it. We'll start a sync program here. We'll say AppSync. And I want to add my cow 253. But I can't. She's already in a sync program. So what do I do to fix it? Let's go back and go down to cancel schedule. We can figure out which sync program she was in before. Maybe you know already. I happen to know she was in the AppSync program. We go in here. We can click on 253 and hit finish. She'll be removed from that sync program. And now if we go to start her on a new one, we don't have any problems getting her going.
I guess it's also useful if you want to clear up a few animals that would have been enrolled like months ago and were just left out, right?
Yeah, for sure. If we go into, show you here, we go into the confirm treatments. This is a great way to find those cows. Let's say sync program. And we can see, say for example, 227 here. She should have had the Sister Ellen on January 8th. So she's well past a month overdue for this. So this is a great candidate to be canceled from a plan. You can also do this with treatment programs, treatment plans. If there was I got a good one here with let's say there was a penicillin health event that we were treating. And maybe this is built to be a 6-day plan or something, and you only ended up giving that cow, say, 3 or 4 days. Looks like here we've got 203. She's got 3 remaining treatments for this treatment plan, but we're not going to give them to her. So we can go in and that cancel plan and cancel this from her, so she won't be triggering for these events anymore. We can cancel that schedule. Penicillin for health event, 203, and finish. And then she doesn't have that lingering task anymore. One final thing that I think is important to take a look at, especially as it relates with Dairy Trace, is your supplier list. So we'll open that up, and here you can see I've got a ton of suppliers in my program. These are ones where, I don't know, maybe I haven't sold cattle to somebody in 5 years, but they're still in my program. You can set them also to not in use so that they don't show up as a potential buyer when you're going to make your sales. You'll just have to either click and edit or double click on that supplier and then set them with that checkbox at the very bottom, right above delete, to not in use. This retains all of the historical records, but then it makes your data entry much more clean, way faster to navigate through if you've got 2 or 3 choices instead of 30 or 40. So you can go ahead and set these to not in use when you change suppliers, or if you've got a snowy day and you just want to sit in front of the program and do a couple of things, you can quickly open them up, edit, and set to not in use. Another item here that you could find very useful with the suppliers is, let's say you've got one supplier that has multiple records here. You can double click and edit, and then you can actually merge that into the old supplier, into the correct one. So let's say this is actually my dead stock, and say okay. It'll tell me, okay, the first one that I clicked, this 13EA, will be merged into my dead stock service. If that's what I want to do, I can go ahead and say yes, and then my program is going to be much more simplified with one record for that supplier instead of multiples. I think that's about all I've got for health updates. Are there any questions, or Matt, do you have any questions?
Let me check. I think there was a question, but I think, well, maybe you can show it again. Karen is asking, is there a way, is there an easy way to figure out what program they're in, as sometimes it's frustrating to find which one? And she was referring to the sync programs or protocols.
Yeah. Let's see. So if we go in here to cancel, you can choose all. So you don't have to actually know which specific program you're going to cancel. You can say all programs. And then, let me take a second to load here. And then next. So if I knew I was going to try to put 186 into a different sync program without having to know that she was on the ObSync double, I can come in here, find her from my list by using that all option, and then go ahead and cancel her right here directly.
Yep, that's perfect. Good. I think we're all set with the questions. So thank you, Lauren. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you.
And we will see you next week, next Friday, 1 p.m. as usual. And this, again, I'll sound like a broken record, but this recording will be on our website and sent to all of you by email. Thanks, and have a good weekend.